Welcome to Kendra's Artistic Crochet Designs, and today we are going to be making this acorn, our acorn diamond. So I thought it was a really neat fall thing that we could do. We are going to be using four different colors. We're going to be using like a dark brown around the border. I have a blue, um, a royal blue that I'm going to work for, use the background. And then also this is the mango for this part. And then we got the brown and dark brown in there too. So anyway, and of course our 6mm hook. And we're going to start out with the dark brown. All right, we're going to chain 2. And in the first chain, in the second chain from the hook, and is the first chain, we're going to single crochet and put 2 doubles in there. 1 single, 2 doubles. That is a falling leaf stitch. If you have not done these before with me, that's a falling leaf stitch, and that is counted as 1 square. And that is 1 row. Easy peasy. First row done. Chain 2 and turn for row 2. And again, in the second chain from the hook, and you'll begin every row this way. You will put your falling leaf stitch into that second chain from the hook at the beginning of every row until after 25, row 25. So this row, we've got our falling leaf stitch. Now we need to skip the next 2 stitches, which those 2 stitches are double crochets, and the third stitch is a single. And you'll always be working your falling leaf stitch in the single crochets. You'll always be skipping those doubles. So your falling leaf stitch will always be in a single. All right, so that is row 2, and that is 2 squares. Okay. All right, row 3, chain 2 and turn. In row 3, we're going to be changing colors, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. So we're going to do our falling leaf stitch again in that second chain from the hook, but on that second double, we are only going to go halfway with it. So we're not going to finish that off. And what we're going to do is we're going to finish it off by bringing in another color, which is this blue. I think this blue is going to look really pretty with these dark colors. Anyway, so see, I pulled it through to finish it off. And now again, we're skipping the 2 doubles and going into that single, which is the third stitch over. And we're going to single and put 2 doubles in there. And this is our second square. Now we're not going to finish that off, because as you could tell, I brought this dark yarn with me. We're going to finish it off with that dark yarn, the dark brown. And again, in the last stitch over, we need to put in the dark brown square. And that is row 3. And as you can see, we have 3 squares now. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And now let's go to row 4. Chain 2 and turn. And again, in row 4, we are starting out in the second chain from the hook again. But this time, we're going to be putting 2 blues in between those 2 dark browns. So we need 2 blue squares. So there's one. And remember, I'm bringing this dark brown with me. And there's two. Now I'm not going to finish that one because I need, how the heck did I do that? And already I've got my yarns tangled up on me. There we go. Now I can bring in my yarn and finish off this row. Now this will automatically, as far as the way we're doing it, it automatically goes up. Like the first row was row 1, and it had 1 square, right? Row 2 had 2 squares, row 3 had 3 squares, row 4 has 4 squares, and row 5 will have 5 squares, so and so forth. It automatically does that. But for the next, up until row, after row, with row 13, there's going to be, like, row 4 had 2 squares, or 2 blues in between these dark browns, and row 5 will have 3, and row 6 will have 4, and it'll continue on going. Well, you always have a dark brown on each end. Okay, so you just keep going like that until row 13. Row 13 will have 1 brown square and 11 blue squares and another brown. So go like that, and I will see you for row 14. All right, so this is what it should look like for 13 rows, and we have the dark brown on each side, and there should be 11 blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 blue across. So this is what we got so far. And I forgot to mark all these rows off. Okay, so row 14. Chain 2 and turn. And let's start out with the dark brown. And then we need to switch over to blue. Then we're going to put 8 blue in. All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, and now we're going to bring in a regular brown. And we need 2 regular brown here. So there's 1 and 2. And then we need our blue, and we need 2 blue. That regular brown can stay there though, we don't need to bring that with us. So there's 1 and 2. And then our brown, our dark brown at the end. So there is row 14 and what it should look like. And we'll mark that row off. And go to row 15. Chain 2 and turn. And we're going to start out with our dark brown. And then we need 2 blue next. So there's 1 and 2. And then we need a brown. So we're going to bring this brown over. And we need to put 1 brown. We're going to go from brown to dark brown 4 times. So we're just going to, so we've got the brown, and now we need a dark brown next. And then switching back to our brown. And then back to the dark brown. And then we're going to bring in our mango. Find the end of it. There it is. And we need to put 2 mango in. Oh, wait a minute. We need to leave that brown behind. All right. All right, and then we need to go to our blue, and we need to finish this off with 5 blue and a dark brown at the end. I'm going to use this color, but if you have a better color than that mango, then you may want to use it. But I think that's going to be too light. But the orange that I had was too dark. It just wouldn't look right either. So I really didn't have a choice. One, two, three, four. And I wasn't even sure if the nut of an acorn is brown or orange or what, but all right. So we had the 5 blue and the 1 dark. Anyway, that's row 15. You should have 15 squares. Mark that off and go to row 16. All right, so we're going to start out with our dark on brown again. And switching over to our blue, we need to put 3 blue in. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to bring this mango up. And we're going to put in 5 of those. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I need a dark brown. But we're going to leave that mango behind because we don't need it anymore. So go to the dark brown, put a dark brown in. And then we need a brown. And then we're done with that. And now we need 2 dark brown. And then we go to blue. We need 2 blue and 1 dark brown to finish off this row. Pull some more blues out there. and then their dark brown at the end. Alright, so there is what row 16 looks like. We'll mark it off. Row 17 is next. And we're going to start out with this dark brown again. And then we need 2 blue next. And then we need our brown. So we need 2 brown. And then we need to go to the dark brown. And we need 2 dark brown. So there's 1. And 2. Then we're going to bring up our mango. And we need 7 mango here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we need 2 blue and a dark brown at the end to finish off this row. And the more and more I think about this nut, that this part has got to be tan, like a tan color. So that is row 17, and we will be back for row 18 in a moment. Okay, so I switched out that, and I put this tan in there, and that looks so much better. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, now that I've got that tan in there, that's a whole lot better. And we're going to go to row 18 here in a minute. soon as I get some untangling done. Alright, so let's chain 2 and turn for row 18 and start out with our dark brown. And then we need to go to our blue and put 2 blue in. Alright, and then we need our tan. And we need 8 tan in here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is 8. Alright, so we are done with that tan. And now we need brown. I'm going to bring this brown down. We need 2 brown in here. So there's 1. And 2. And then we need 1 dark brown. And 1 brown. And then we're going to finish off this row by putting 2 blue and a dark brown at the end. Okay, so there is row 18, and this is what it should look like. Okay, row 19. Let's chain 2 and turn. And we're starting out with the dark brown as usual. And then we need to go to our blue and put 3 blue in. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we need a dark brown. So let's bring up this brown with us as we do that. So the next 4 are going to be dark brown, brown, dark brown, and brown. So we're just going to alternate in between the dark brown and the brown, the dark brown and the browns. So dark, it starts out with dark brown. Now we're doing a regular brown. And then we'll get into the dark brown again. And then back to our regular brown. And then we need to bring up our tan. We're leaving that brown behind. We need to put 8 tan in. So there's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. And then we need to get our blue. And we need to finish this row off with 2 blue and a dark brown at the end. All right, and then that is what it should look like for row 19. Chain 2 and turn for row 20. We're going to start out with our dark brown. And then going over to our blue. We need 2 blue. Okay, and then we need our tan, and we need 9 tan. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is 9. All right, done with that tan. Now we need our brown. And now we need 1 brown, 2 dark brown, and a brown. All right, and then we go over to our blue, and we're going to finish this row off by putting 3 blue and a dark brown at the end. And that is 20 rows, and you should have 20 squares. Okay, so we will be back for row 21 in a moment. Okay, so row 21. Let's chain 2 and turn. We're starting out with this dark brown again, and then we need to switch over to blue, and we're going to put 4 blue in, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we need to switch over to our regular brown and we're going to put 2 brown in, 2 brown and a dark brown. So there's 1, and 2. Leave that behind. Put the dark brown in. Just 1 dark brown. And then we need our tan. And we need 9 tan. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. And 9. And then we're going to switch over to our blue. We need 3 blue and a dark brown at the end to finish this row off. And that's the way it should look for row 21. Row 22. Chain 2 and turn. And we'll start out with our dark brown. And then we need our blue. And we need to put 3 blue in. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to go over to our tan and we need to put 9 tan in. So there's one. And two. Three. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. And 9. All right, leave that behind, and we are starting out with 2 brown, so we need 2 regular browns in here next, and then we're going to need 1 dark brown and then 1 brown at the end. I mean, not at the end, but for the top of our acorn. So 2 brown, 1 dark brown, 1 brown. And then we're going to finish off this row with 4 blue and a dark brown at the end. All right, and that is row 22 and what it should look like. And let's mark off that row. Row 23 is next. So we started out with our dark brown, and we need 2 blue next. So there's 1, and 2. Then we're going to go back to our dark brown, and we need to put 4 dark brown in. So there's 1, 2, 3, and on this 4th one we need to bring up that brown with us. And then now we need to put 1 brown, 1 dark brown, and 1 brown in the next 3. So brown, dark, brown. Leaving that brown behind, bringing up the tan. We need 9 tan in here next. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Switching over to blue, we need to finish this row off by using 3 blue and a dark brown at the end. So there's 1, 2, 3. Alright, and so there is row 23 finished. And that's what it should look like. Let's mark that off. Go to row 24. Starting out with the dark brown, and then we need to go to our blue, and we need to put 3 blue in. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we need to go to our tan, and we need 10 tan. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, and then we're going to switch over to our brown, leaving that tan behind. We need 1 brown, 2 dark brown, and then 1 brown again. So let's go to our dark brown. So 2 dark brown, and then 1 brown. Then we can leave that behind. Go back to our dark brown, and now we need to put 3 dark brown in. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to finish this row off by putting in 2 blue and a dark brown at the end. All right, and there is what row 24 looks like. So row 25, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Starting off with the dark brown as usual, and then we need to switch over to our blue, and we're going to put 3 blue in. So there's one. Two. And three. Back to the dark brown, and we need to put 3 dark brown in. So there's one, two, and three. And we'll bring up the brown. We need 2 brown and 1 dark brown. And we need to carry this dark brown with us, or this regular brown with us. So we've got our dark brown here. And then we need to bring up the tan. And now we need 4 tan. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then back to the brown. We'll put 1 brown in. And then back to our tan. We need 2 tan. And then we're going back to the brown. Not the dark brown, the brown. Come on. And we need 3 brown next. We're done with that tan. We'll leave it behind. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to switch over to blue and finish this row out with 4 blue and a dark brown at the end. So there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 blue. Now we have 4. All right, so this is what it looks like. So this is, you should have, this is 25 rows. You should have 25 squares. And this is half of our diamond completed. So we will be, let's see, we finished off 25. When we come back tomorrow, we are going to be start to decreasing on both ends. So we will finish our diamond tomorrow, starting with row 26. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and bye-bye now.